What up? Welcome back to Shroud Stories. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that submitted emails. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you. We got a plethora of emails, so I need to go through them. It's obviously been a week since the last video. It's probably been a week since you sent the email. But just wanted to say thank you guys, and I will be getting back to you. And I did read them. So first off, well, second off now. Sorry, I'm still asleep. But Nate, this homie from California somewhere, he's in a super sick zone that I really like to surf that is low-key and also kind of has bad waves pretty often too, but it also has really, really good waves. So I won't name the spot, but Nate, you know what I'm talking about. There's some very good waves there. So anyways, I want to come surf with you first of all. Second of all, we're going to talk about how to surf really bad closeouts, some tips and tricks that I have figured out in surfing closeout, wind slop, shitty waves. Today it's light offshore, so it's probably going to be like kind of glassy, but tide's low, swells out of the west, and there's probably going to be a lot of closeouts. So we're going to give you guys some tips that I like to use when I am surfing a closed out wave. But you know the rules. We're going to go for a shroud, and then I'll come back and chat to you guys about that. And another thing is I just picked up some new boards from Dave Bainey at Infinity, and one of them is called the Buzz. It's like a standard shortboard. It's supposed to be similar to my Alley Rat from Timmy Patterson, but it's the same dimensions, just Dave Bainey's outline and rail and all that stuff. And one thing that I thought was super interesting was when I put it on the ground, there was this like weird flat spot in it. Like right there, there's like the rail line gets really flat. So you can almost like feel it like knock from one end to the other. And that's not like an uncommon thing in surfboards. That's actually super common, is having a flat spot. A lot of shapers will do that to increase flow, I think. Like in flat spots of the wave, you can kind of like use that flat area on the surfboard to kind of just like float through a section. Now, it changes between shapers. Like Mayhem, for example, would be, and I'm just guessing, I don't know this for certain, but like Mayhem's might be further up and Timmy's might be further back and Channel Islands might be more in the middle. So they change based on the shaper, and some are a lot more noticeable than others. But typically, from what I'm understanding, I want to say all boards, but I know for sure all high performance surfboards have a flat spot in them. And that is the rocker profile, and sometimes you can switch them around, change them up based on what you're used to. So if you're ordering custom boards, keep that in mind. Talk to your shaper about flat spots if he has them, if he doesn't, so on and so forth. But this is the first high performance shortboard I've had from Dave in a few years, so we're kind of doing some testing on it right now to see what we can change, what we can update, what we can make better. So I rode it once yesterday. It was very sloppy, very windy, and very bad. And today it's a little more glassy, and hopefully I'll get to feel the board out a little bit more. But let's go for a shroud, and I'll come back and talk to you guys about crappy wave surfing and how to do it. So let's get it. All right, what's up? So that trout was tough, to say the least, honestly. I had a bit of a blowout. The waves were pretty walled. Conditions were good. It was offshore and it was sunny and bitching, but I actually blew out my fin and my fin box. I realized later that I broke this fin out of the board, but this fin I pushed in. You can see like the fin's all blown out right here, but I pushed the box down into the board. So, I mean, I can't rip it out, but it's all shattered and cracked and pushed in. So I gotta get it repaired. Typically I would do my own repairs, but I don't have anywhere to do it right now and I don't feel like making a mess in my front yard. So I'm gonna call up a friend of mine and see if he can get it done for me, but trout was tough. And let's get straight to the point. How to surf bad waves better. It's windy, it's walled, it's closed out, it's tough, right? So the first thing that I look for when I'm trying to figure out where to go surfing when it's bad like that is I look for structure. I look for a pier, a jetty, a point, rocks, something that gives structure to the coastline, because typically that'll make a wave break further out and then you might be able to get a little bit of time before the wave will actually close out. So case in point, today I surfed Creek Point and it was still really walled and hard to get into them before the closeout, but you'll notice there's a couple waves where I actually got to go down the line and got to feel out my new board a little bit. So that is like the biggest thing that I look for. If you go down the beach right now, like towards Middles or something, and it's just beach break, standard beach break, it was only closeouts. Like there was maybe one or two that would have been somewhat makeable, but for the most part, completely closed out. Now, that being said, if you go down to Trestles or something like that, you'd have a way better time getting waves and actually getting down the line and getting to do some maneuvers. So that is the biggest thing that I would suggest when you're dealing with a bad surf day and that's your only time to go surfing. Another thing that I like to point out too is when the waves are really mushy and closed out, typically they're very soft and don't have a lot of power. So riding a board similar to this one is probably not your best bet. I'd suggest riding something a little bit rounder of an outline, maybe a little bit shorter can help as well. Like a fish or like a hybrid-y style short board, I guess. Like for Timmy Patterson's example, the synthetic 84 might be a good option. For Channel Islands, I think they call it the couch potato or something would be a good option. But something round so you'll catch the wave quicker. And you can actually get up and start getting some speed before the closeout. You'll actually have more fun, ideally, in the end goal. But that's kind of like my two biggest points for bad wave surfing. And another thing I'd like to point out is surfing really bad waves will make you a 10 times better surfer when the waves actually get good. Because if you're struggling on a terrible wave, trying to like make a turn or do something before the closeout, and you're actually making it happen, and then you get into really good waves, you can be like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Like you don't have to work as hard, so you're used to the struggle that is no longer there, and you'll end up having a lot more fun. So I think it's really important to actually surf really bad waves, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, honestly. Like there's not much to it. Just look for some structure and ride a bit bigger, not necessarily longer, but bigger surfboard, a little more foam under you will help a lot. So thanks everyone for tuning back in. Like I said, I'm going to get through to these emails ASAP, and I love all the feedback. So keep it coming, shroudstories.wordpress.com, and we will see you guys next week. All right, peace.